Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Fly Like an Eagle podcast, special edition, live from the same place I'm at every single Thursday. I am tired of shit, but we're here to talk about the Birds and what they're going to do in Arizona today. One thing before I bring my man Zach in. I wake up this morning, had a great sleep. I watched the Alabama game last night. That was absolutely trash. Woke up this morning, wake up to my phone, almost ringing because Trevor was calling me. And he was like, look at this bullshit. So I look at this bullshit, and there's Carson Wentz saying he wants out of Philadelphia if he's not the starter. Well, no shit. But here's another reason why I do not like this guy and want to move on from him. All right? He was playing like absolute horseshit. He was playing like one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. And him saying this one game after Jalen Hurts wins one game, like you can't take one game and just think, maybe I should be a good teammate and back up Jalen Hurts and then congratulate him, even though I'm getting paid $108 million. I'm getting paid to ride the bench right now because my play wasn't good enough when someone else won for me. If you want to be the starter here in Philadelphia, come back next year, outperform Jalen Hurts, and win the starting job. It's that simple. I know you grew up in North Dakota where everyone pampered your ass and gave you everything you wanted. Tough. This is Philadelphia. You got to earn stuff the hard way here, all right? Zach, I'm sorry. I'm just sick and tired of this guy. I really am. I'm done with him. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm done with this intro. Just take it away.
First off, I want to lead off with sorry that we pushed this all the way back to Sunday. I've been dealing with the snowstorm. I don't know how much snow you got, but we got 30 inches. So it was a lot of work to put in, literally outside, probably about good 8 hours, just plowing, shoveling, snow blowing, all that good fun stuff. So that's why we pushed back to Sunday. Now, football-wise, no shit, he doesn't want to be here if he's not the starter. Any person that's competitive wants to be the starter, wants the ball in their hand. So that's really where I lie on that. I would prefer if he actually went out and won the job. I think he feels he already won the job multiple different times. So why has he got to go ahead and win it again? So I understand where he's coming from. But at the same time, it'd be nice for him to just do what he's got to do and go win the job the very next year. And for me, it's it's rumors. For me, I'll listen to it, but with a grain of salt. So until it actually happens, it's just rumors, unless it comes from Carson's mouth himself.
I mean, here lies the problem, Josh. Zach, hear me out, all right? It's early. Sorry, I called you whatever. If you don't think you're better than Jalen Hurts, that you can't beat him out for a starting job, there's a problem there. It's like you want a job handed to you over a guy that just beat the top-ranked defense last week in the New Orleans Saints. He made it look, I'm not going to say easy, he made it look safe. He made it look like what Carson should have been done for the whole should have been doing for the whole season, throwing to the sticks, not going for the big play every single down. I just don't get what's wrong with this guy's mindset. You look at him, he looks miserable. Every single picture that a photo op the paparazzi takes of Carson Wentz, he looks miserable after a team win. Like, it's just a guy that's emotionally drained, in my opinion, emotionally broken playing in the city of Philadelphia. And to me, that's not a guy that I want being here for the next 10 years. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm the same age as Carson Wentz. We're both 28 years old. Well, he's actually 27. All right? So we're both getting older. I could understand where he's coming from. Like, he wants a stable job being 28. I understand that. But at the same time, it's like, dude, do you not realize how bad you played this year? You were one of the worst quarterbacks in the league this year. You couldn't make a simple play. Like, dude, I understand you're getting paid. Like, you're getting paid money and you want to play your position. That's great. Why don't you play your position good? Like, that's the only thing I don't get. It's like, do you not understand how bad you played? Now, granted, you got hit 50 times this year. That's a lot. Like my friend's dad said, when you're getting hit that many times, you're looking for two reads. You're looking for your first read and you're looking for the guy that's coming to hit you. Understandable. But if you want to play and not be the backup, you had to play up to your capabilities before you got benched. And you just weren't getting the job done. Jalen Hurts came in and won the game. So if you're scared of losing your job to a rookie QB, that's already a red flag being 28 years old. Like, I hate to break it to you. It just is. And Zach, he's gone. He's gone, dude. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. He is gone. Bye.
I mean, we've seen the talent before. We've seen it 2017, 18, 19, just not the 20, just not 2020. And I think a lot can be said with all the things surrounding this year. They go without being said, so I'm not going to even get into that whole situation. I would rather him get fixed here in Philadelphia because I've seen the talent. I've seen what he has. And the fact that you're disagreeing, if he goes elsewhere and performs, then we're all going to be upset. We're all going to be butthurt. Like, why can't you do that in Philadelphia? You know what you need to do? Go out and get him a number one wide receiver. If he still fails, well, guess what? Jalen Hurts has a number one wide receiver. Why not that?
Wait, Zach. And I hate to argue this early in the morning, but if he needs a number one wide receiver to succeed, there's a huge problem there. Like, I'm sorry. Like, look at Tom Brady up at New England. Who the hell did he have for 3 of his titles? He had fucking Julian Edelman, a career special teamer before Tom Brady was the quarterback. Well, before he came to New England, he was a career special teamer who was a quarterback. You know, he comes to New England. Then he has a wide receiver who's a lacrosse player. He turns him into a Hall of Famer. So I don't want to hear how you need to give this guy everything for him to be a decent quarterback. Carson Wentz.
Take Devontae Adams away from Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers would still be excellent. Aaron Rodgers has a capability that Carson Wentz clearly does not have.
Take Michael Thomas away from Drew Brees.
Drew Brees would still be Drew Brees. Like,
Let's take away Travis Kelce from Patrick Mahomes. Let's take Stephon Diggs away from
Patrick
Josh
Mahomes
Allen.
Would still be Patrick Mahomes. All right? Travis Kelce
You're kidding yourself.
Isn't even the main star on that team. There's a guy named Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, exactly my point. Who do the Eagles have?
Zach Ertz, Jalen Reagor, Travis Fulgham. Well, I'm not going to say Travis Fulgham because a lot of people hate him now.
What have any of those 3 done this year?
Jalen Reagor?
What have any of those 3 done this year?
Well, Jalen Reagor was hurt for 8 weeks. Every single time he had to break a wide open play, Carson Wentz either threw a pick 6 or would miss them miserably. So that's a small sample size there. Zach Ertz has been out. Wait, what?
So nothing.
Nothing
this year.
He sounds just like Zomp. Like, Zomp texts me every single day.
I'm not calling him a bust. I'm not calling him a bust. I'm saying he's literally done nothing this year.
Right, but what on film have you seen to where Carson Wentz would have played better with a number one wide receiver here? You know, some of the throws that he's made this year. I mean, we're elementary, fundamentally not sound.
We're not even talking about Carson Wentz. I said for Carson Wentz, or if he's not here, for Jalen Hurts. We need to get a number one wide receiver for our quarterback. You can't just put a quarterback out there and expect them to succeed. Go look what the Bills did. Go look what the Bills did. Go look what Arizona did.
Well, I mean, if you want to go to the Bills, look at Josh Allen. He looks like fucking Tom Brady out there. I mean,
yeah, but last year he didn't.
Because they fixed his mechanics.
Because they got him a number one weapon.
No.
Yes.
They fixed his mechanics. They say it every single week on whatever channel he's on. They say it every week. They made him bend his elbow back to a point to where he releases a lot quicker. They say it every single week. They fix his mechanics. Carson Wentz's mechanics, to me, are unfixable. That's the problem. You know, every single week you see that he has a wide open receiver on the sideline and he throws it 10 feet over his head. Like, you can't fix his mechanics. I don't know what happened to his 2017 mechanics. I have no idea. But
so
these
a guy
mechanics
that has over 100 catches has nothing to do with him performing.
Wait, who?
Diggs has over 100 catches this year.
Diggs is actually a pretty good wide receiver.
Yeah, my point.
Yeah, it's a decent point. Stephon Diggs is a good wide receiver. But look at Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley is like, all right, whatever. He's quick. You know, he hits him and stride every single play. Like, look, did you see that Broncos game yesterday?
There is.
Wait, what?
He's probably one of the best number 3s there is.
Beasley. All right. Let me see some of these comments. His mechanics were better than last year. He had weapons last year. John Brown, Cole Beasley. His tight ends were involved. Yeah, exactly. His mechanics weren't that good last year. His mechanics are great this year. and he had Cole Beasley last year. So that's my point right there. But other than that, let's get on to the game at hand because Carson Wentz. Let's just move on from that topic.
Not even about Carson Wentz. It's about this team. You want this team to succeed. Get them a weapon.
Yeah, I want the team to succeed, and Carson Wentz ain't the guy. With that said, we're going on to the Arizona Cardinals today. All right? Arizona Cardinals, we are a 6-point underdog, Zach. All right? And we're going to the desert where we rarely win. I don't remember the last time we won in the desert. We're facing Kyler Murray after our defense actually played a pretty decent game last week against Taysom Hill. How do you see this one unraveling? I personally, I don't know. I feel like if we win this one, we're going to the playoffs, but I'm just not certain. I'm not certain we could go to the desert and beat a team where a couple weeks ago I actually had a dark horse going to the Super Bowl. Not really anymore because they really fell apart. But I don't know. How do you see it?
Are we going to see the Jalen Hurts of the first half or Jalen Hurts of the second half? That's really what it's going to boil down to. Yeah,
that's fair. I mean, Jalen Hurts played as safe of a game as you could as a quarterback in the NFL. He had 167 yards, 1 touchdown, no turnovers, and the Saints almost still came back. So, I mean, I don't know. Jalen Hurts has to have at least 2 big plays today. I don't know if I see that happening. Kyler Murray's going to run all over us. In hindsight, I could see us losing this game. Like Sean Matt says in the comment section, our secondary is crippled. I agree with that. It's going to be a tough game to win today, but with that said, you know, with the whole Carson Wentz situation and him wanting to be a starting quarterback, I could totally see to where this franchise plays up again and they win, and then we go to the playoffs just to make the situation that more difficult. I can't call it anymore, Zach. I really can't. I thought we were going to lose to the Saints by like 30 last week, and we beat them outright. So I really can't call this team anymore. I can't call this franchise anymore. They're just backwards.
Well, I'll tell you right now, when you go up against Jalen Hurts, you can have a game plan. And just like Mike Tyson says, everybody has a game plan until they get punched in the mouth. The Saints got punched in the mouth in the first half. Second half, they did a hell of a lot better. You watch that first half, they actually had the defensive ends widening out, trying to get pressure on Jalen Hurts to push him up in the pocket to pass the ball, not realizing that Jalen's a little more athletic than they thought, giving him running lanes to clearly just take off all day. You see the beginning half of that game, and that's exactly what he did. In the second half, the defensive ends did a better job of keeping him in the pocket, keeping him contained, and not leaving those running lanes open. So for me, Jalen Hurts is going to have to make magic with his legs, and he's going to have to try to find space with his legs because that's what you're going to get, whether it's at Oklahoma, whether it was at Alabama, or now with Philadelphia Eagles. You're going to get crappy numbers, but good grits from a quarterback that's going to do whatever it takes to win, whether he's got to run for 200 yards and throw for 100 or throw for 200 and run for 100. It doesn't matter. He's going to do whatever it takes to win.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I can't disagree with that right now because he beat the Saints, you know. So I'll agree with you right now. I mean, I'm obviously not a huge Jalen Hurts guy. I'm not at all. I don't think he's really an NFL quarterback, but he lives on for another intangibles. Yeah, he lives on for another week. So that's all I got to say about that. What they have to do, I don't know what the Arizona Cardinals run defense is ranked. I mean, I didn't really look it up because it's early in the morning and I'm tired as shit. But all I got to say is I was watching this Ohio State game and Northwestern game yesterday. Ohio State versus Northwestern.
Yep.
And Justin Fields looked absolutely abysmal. Guess what they did? They turned to the run, and they won the game by 12 points.
Trey Sermon.
It was Sermon. Sermon ran for, I believe, almost 300 yards. So if you feel that your passing game's not working today, pound the shit out of Miles Sanders. No matter what you do. Go to the run game. You know, that's what the announcers were saying at the Ohio State game. I was getting pissed off because I had Northwestern plus 17. I was getting pissed off because Sermon would just run all over Northwestern's defense, who is ranked 5th in run stopping. You know? So whatever works, you got to stick with it. You know? And Jalen Hurts, we'll see how he does today, but I feel like you got to utilize Miles Sanders. You got to utilize him today in a big way. You know, because he does break off that big play every once in a while. We all knew that. And why not just give it a test, you know?
Exactly. And I agree with one of the comments in the comment section, Chop Lad. We have to get up early on the scoreboard because this team is built to play with a lead. We get pass rushers. You want to get them in passing situations. So one of the best ways to do that is get a lead early and also get them in third and long situations. And that's how this team is really built. Is the secondary going to be able to hold up? That's the issue. Jalen Mills going to come up and play corner. And is he going to get burnt on double moves? Is he going to play 10 yards back? What is he going to play like? Is he going to play like Jalen Mills that had that good stretch back in 2017 or when he was getting burned all the time?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know because Kyler Murray's he's tough to figure out, dude. Like he's quick. He's a quick little bastard. He really is. Like his throw-ins, meh. I mean, I feel like he's not the most accurate quarterback in the league. Like he's more of a Lamar Jackson, but maybe a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, I'm always scared going against mobile quarterbacks because again, we don't have any linebackers. So I mean, that kind of doesn't help. And yeah, he could either light us up or have a really bad game against us. I'm probably going to go light us up. And yes, I agree with Chop Lad. We do have to get up early on the scoreboard because, like I said, Jalen Hurts isn't that type of quarterback that'll bring you back from a 10-point deficit. He won't do it. And because let's be honest here, when he was at Alabama and he was down, he couldn't do it in the biggest spot. So how's he going to do it in the NFL? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's pretty decent common sense there. I'm predicting it now. Kevin Sermon will get an interception, probably. I mean, but the thing is, I can't call interceptions for Jalen Hurts because he's safe. You know, he's a really safe quarterback. Like, I don't feel like he turns the ball over that much.
He didn't do that much in college. He didn't turn over the ball much in college. I think he had like 80 touchdowns, 20 interceptions. I can't remember off the top of my head, but basically a 4-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio.
You know, I feel like that comment is coming because of what they've seen out of Carson Wentz this year, turning the ball over at will. Now, Jalen Hurts is a completely different quarterback. I'm not saying he has the skill set of Carson Wentz, but he doesn't turn the ball over like Carson Wentz did this year. So you'll be refreshed today by Jalen Hurts. Not in a great way, but you'll be fresh by the interceptions to fumble ratio today because it's not going to happen. I'll say the Eagles win 27-20. I'm going to be honest, guys. I see a loss today. I don't see how we beat the Cardinals today. Now, I could be wrong. I said the same about the Saints last week. I don't know. I just don't see how we knock off two great teams. Well, one good, one great team 2 weeks in a row. I don't. And if we do, we're going to go to the playoffs because Washington has Dwayne Haskins back because Alex Smith's hurt. And Dwayne Haskins is terrible. So if we win this game, guys, we're going to the playoffs. And it kind of stinks because I wanted a top pick, but whatever. You know, this is what this franchise does to me every single year. They put me in the worst position possible so we don't get that one player that needs to put us over the hump. So at least I have that Super Bowl. If I didn't have that Super Bowl, I'd probably jump off a bridge right now. I'd be so disappointed.
What a great weekend for the NFC East. They're all starting backup quarterbacks.
It's great, right? We're the one team that has a healthy one.
Yep.
Off topic, but did you hear the news on John Dorsey? I did.
He's not going to be the Eagles' next GM. He's up for GM jobs across the league. He wouldn't be the Eagles' next GM, but if he doesn't get a GM job across the league, then he's going to stick with the Philadelphia Eagles as an advisor.
Yeah, he's not going to get a GM job. Nobody likes John Dorsey. But it is good that we have an advisor here because Howie Roseman cannot pick for shit. So at least John Dorsey will have some input into who we pick. It's not a great thing. I don't think John Dorsey's all that good, to be honest with you. I think he's going to stay here because nobody likes John Dorsey, like I just said. But it's better than what we have, to be honest, so I'll take it. Why are we always so negative? Because I'm an Eagles fan. I hate how the Eagles reel you back in. We need a good pick. Sean, I go through this every single year. Every single year, all right? I feel like we're dead, and then they reel me back in. The only difference is every single time I get reeled back in, we didn't have a Super Bowl. That's why I'd get reeled back in. I was delusional because instead of wanting a good pick, I wanted that shot because I was sick of waiting one more year. I wanted that shot. But now that I have that Super Bowl, I realize how much of a dog shit team this is that we need a draft pick over going to the playoffs. So I think a little bit differently now with that Super Bowl in my back pocket. And yeah, we suck. We're miserable right now. And I told the Giants fans a couple weeks ago, I was like, do you really want to win the division because you're still in rebuild mode? And now they're saying, guess what? You were right. We're in rebuild mode. We're going to lose. And they're on Sunday Night Football tonight. They're probably going to get spanked. Yeah, Sean, I look at it way differently now. I don't know how Zach looks at it, but I look at it completely different now. I want a good draft pick. At this point, I'd take a good draft pick over winning. I'm sorry, I would. Let me see. I was happy when the Eagles beat the Saints. I guess I was. I mean, it was a long time since we won. How can we get the top pick? Will, come on, bro. You know what I mean. All right, top 5, top 6 pick. We're not going to get the top pick. All right? Everyone knows that. I think the Eagles are good. Yeah, what makes you say that? The money went to Wentz's head? No, you know what went to Wentz's head? Davian Clowney's head. That's what went to his head. He hasn't played the same since. I would love him as a draft consultant. Yeah, anyone who could be a draft consultant over what we have, I'll take 10 times out of 10. Because Howie Roseman needs to be put in a corner, like he truly does, and I mean a corner far away from the team.
I mean, you can technically put Patrick Mahomes under John Dorsey's draft status, so
yeah.
More of an Andy Reid pick, but we'll give it to John Dorsey.
Yeah, I mean, Andy, tell you the truth, I was actually at the draft. I was at the draft when they picked Mahomes, and it was in Philadelphia. And I was like, who the fuck is this kid? Because I've never heard of him. I knew he played for Texas Tech. Well, I didn't know because obviously I'd never heard of him. But then they picked him. I'm like, didn't they kind of reach for him? And I'm saying all of a sudden, Mitchell Trubisky was picked ahead of him, which is kind of weird to me. But whatever. You know, people miss all the time. And I guess I was
I really thought Patrick Mahomes was a year or two away. I thought he was a raw talent coming out of Texas Tech, and I was wrong because a lot of those guys that you've seen come out of that Texas Tech system don't produce at a high level. I think I can't think of his name off the top of my head. The Minnesota Vikings quarterback that we whooped their ass 38-7. He came out of Texas Tech, and he put up some gaudy numbers at Texas Tech. So I thought it was going to take about a year or two, and it took about a year for him to get his feet wet into the NFL and took off.
When did this QB play for Minnesota? I'm trying to figure out because now you tested my skill set.
He was pretty good at Texas Tech. Don't kid yourself.
What year was this?
2017.
2017 he played against us?
The Minnesota Vikings.
They played against us?
Yeah, in the championship game.
Oh, Case Keenum.
Yeah,
he played for Houston.
Yeah, same system.
Yeah.
Sorry, my mistake, but same system. That was at Texas Tech.
Yeah, I forgot Case Keenum too because let's face it, he's kind of a bum. I don't even know why I went on that run. To be honest, that's so funny. Devontae Smith would be a great pick. Listen, Zach has the expertise there because he's an actual Bama fan. From what I saw last night, he looks pretty good. But I was telling my friend Tom, who's going to be on the show later, that Jamar Chase, in my opinion, has more intangibles than Devontae Smith has. But that's just an opinion.
They both high point the ball. They both are – I would say Devontae Smith's a little bit of a better route runner, but they both high point the ball, which is something that you want, especially if Carson Wentz happens to be your quarterback. We all know how that ball sails on him a little bit, so maybe that will help him out a little bit.
You have to jump 10 feet.
Devontae Smith's just skinny. It worries me about if he's going to be able to take a punishment at the next level.
Yeah. Do you agree with this one? Kadarius Toney, the next Tyreek Hill. I think he plays for Florida.
Yeah, he had a really good game last night.
Yeah.
He's definitely going to be a first, second round pick.
Yeah, I mean, Florida, a lot of people are high on Kyle Trask. I didn't really see anything, to be honest with you. Hurts will never give back his starting job. The young bull has always been through this in college. Hey, this is an Eagles podcast. Talk Eagles. Fuck the draft. Season is not
the draft has to do with the Philadelphia Eagles. So
yeah. For the love of God, fly Eagles, fly guys. Yeah, like fucking Zach said. Andrew, come on, buddy. This is an Eagles podcast. We're talking about the future because we're realistic. All right? This team is not good enough to win a Super Bowl this year. I'm not about going to the playoffs anymore. I'm just not. All right? I was about going to the playoffs getting our shit pushed in when we didn't have a title. I'm not about going to the playoffs and getting spanked in the first round and giving up a decent draft pick. I'm just not like that anymore. I think about the future of this team. This team needs an elite prospect. They need one, especially because we're in cap hell next year. We need an elite prospect badly. Like, you guys have to understand this. I know you guys are loyal. I know you guys are diehard. I know you guys don't think we could ever suck. But the fact of the matter is, Andrew, we suck. We're not a good football team. All right? The coaching's bad. The players are bad. The front office is bad. Like, everything. Everything. And he does bring up a decent point. He's like, future, what position? What's our draft pick? You don't know. All right? Well, we'll be in the first round. All right, we'll be in the first round, but you want to be below that 10 position, all right? Because below that 10 position, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, usually lies a very good player. Usually, all right? Unless you fuck that up, which you really don't. And he also says, season's not over. Well,
Andrew, I could tell you our position's going to be top 15.
Top 15. So I'd rather be top 10. I'd rather be top 10.
But I'm just saying, I guarantee it's going to be top 15.
Not if we win the division. If we win the
number 15.
If we win the division, we'll be at like 18, 19. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure if we win the division, we'll be at like 18, 19. Because when you automatically win a title, like an NFC's title, any division, you're automatically above the wildcard teams. So you'll be at like 18. Easily. Put Wentz in. Why would you put Wentz in? Like, why? There's no reason to. Like, the guy's bitching and moaning. Like, he wants out of Philadelphia. I agree. We need elite players so bad. We do. Listen, I'm a Jalen Reagor guy. Everyone knows this. I wanted him in the draft. I was screaming like we won the Super Bowl. Zomp says it every single week. All right? I feel like he can flourish within the next couple of years. Maybe he'll have a great game today. But we do need someone like a Jamar Chase on this team. We really do. Because we haven't had one of those since maybe Terrell Owens, if I'm going to guess. It's been a long, long, long time. We win the division. It's 19. They added a playoff team.
Oh, there you go.
You found it?
There you go. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yep. We went. Yeah, exactly. So I said 18, 19. Cha-ching. I was right. If we wanted a high draft pick, why didn't we keep Wentz in? You're making my case a little bit better when it comes to Carson Wentz. We all know the guy sucks, all right? So yeah, I understand that, but this is how this team operates. The team realized that mathematically they were still in the race, so they're gonna go with the young rookie to see what he has, which means that in all likelihood you are done with Carson Wentz because you don't trust your franchise quarterback to get the job done. So that relationship's over. Just consider him gone off the team. All right. The quote that he said yesterday or Friday, I believe, that popped up today, all just nailed it in. Like, he's gone. He's off this team, and I cannot wait. I can't wait till he's gone. I really can't. I know Zach likes him, so I'm not gonna go on with this. I cannot wait till Carson Wentz is gone. Please, for the love of God. You think we went on the road today? No, unfortunately. I want Jamar Chase too. Yeah, I would love Jamar Chase. Only thing is that Jamar Chase opted out this year, and it gave Devontae Smith the spotlight. So that might intrigue teams to take Devontae Smith over Jamar Chase, which would be a big no-no to me because Jamar Chase is clearly the better wide receiver. So that's one thing I'm worried about, to be honest with you. And that'll be a total Eagle thing to do. I want out of Philly too if I had coaches that had nothing better any positions. Okay. Wentz should be a team that stands by him no matter what. He doesn't suck. The whole team fucking blows. All right, so if the whole team fucking blows, how do we beat the Saints last week? One person doesn't make the team. I'll die when we get someone good in the draft, and he's a bust once again. All right, so that was a huge contradiction. Sermon ran for 325 yards for Ohio. Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. Like Andrew Luck. We're comparing Andrew Luck to Wentz. I don't know about better. They're both solid. I don't know what to talk. Oh, yeah, Jamar Chase and Devontae Smith. Jamar Chase is better than Devontae Smith. Go and look at some film at this guy's catches, dude.
Jamar Chase was better than Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
And when everyone was screaming Justin Jefferson, I was screaming Jamar Chase.
Yeah. And Jefferson's doing well.
Jefferson's been playing very well.
Yeah. Carson is involved in the game plans. I mean, obviously, he's a franchise quarterback. They run plays Carson likes. No, that's not true. Thank. We've been agreeing a lot. The problem with Carson Wentz this year is he changes so many plays up at the line, and that's what screws him up. They don't run the plays that Carson likes. If Carson doesn't like a play, which he apparently doesn't, he changes it up and goes for the big play, and that's why he's not succeeding. Maybe that's why they pulled him, because they were sick of it, and it was hurting Doug's chances of keeping his job. Don't worry, fellas. We're going to lose today and get the high draft. I mean, listen, all right, E-Dog, I don't want to lose, but I kind of do. I mean, it's like one of those things. I'm an Eagles fan. I hate when the team loses, but I want that high draft pick. So, I mean, it would be a win-win for me. Kind of, I guess. Maybe. I don't know.
All right, but if you keep losing, you get the high draft pick, then that means most likely Carson Wentz is coming back and being your starting quarterback. So it's kind of like, what do you want?
Yeah, I don't want him.
Because the more that Jalen Hurts plays and the more spark that he gives this team, since spark seems to be the word of the century right now, it's going to be harder to go back to Carson if you ever decide to go back to Carson.
Yeah, I would never go back to Carson. But that's just me. Listen, I don't run the team. More than likely, you're right. He's probably going to have a shot to come back next year. In my mindset, he's already gone. But like I said, I don't work for the Philadelphia Eagles. That's just my mindset. So, whatever. Give me Zach Wilson. I would love Zach Wilson, but we're not taking a quarterback. The point is, Wentz does deserve better. You got to realize that we waste our money on veterans who don't deserve the money. We could have a stud, but we're out here keeping Jeffrey Peters and a bunch of other shitty guys. You make a good point.
100%.
You make a valid point, Jake. Problem is, a lot of those were pride contracts. Like, you had to keep them here because of the Super Bowl, which I'm okay with. But the fact that they got old really quickly, it just goes to show you that, yeah, it's just time to move on. I agree with that comment. That's a good comment.
How you going to agree with that comment, but not with me?
What?
Hurts my feelings.
I always agree with you. Listen, I disagree with you very minimally. Well, as of recently.
I just want to see what this offense can be, whether it's Jalen Hurts or Carson Wentz, if we actually get a legit number one wide receiver. Jalen Reagor, like I've said, is not a bust. He can grow into a number one wide receiver, but right now he's going through the bumps and bruises of becoming an NFL wide receiver, which you expect. You know, it's all what this team wants to do. They want to grow with these young talent that haven't proved anything just yet at the NFL level, and it's having an impact, whether it's on Jalen Hurts or Carson Wentz. It's having an impact.
I have a double comment here. Carson Wentz is better on the run than a pocket passer. And then Dank Burrito is like, why is a superstar like Carson only good on the run? What superstar was only good on rollouts? It's a valid point. That's a valid point right there. You know, you have to be good in the pocket and you have to be good on rollouts. Thing is, Russell Wilson is more of a QB like Carson Wentz is. He's great on rollouts. He's great on breakdown plays. Pocket passer, meh, when he has to be. But the thing is, Carson Wentz can't even run anymore. Like that was his specialty. That's what made him elite. The fact that he could roll out. He's not rolling out because either one, he's scared, which I don't think's the case because he's asking to play with this dog shit offensive line. Or number two, they don't roll him out, which I think is complete bullshit. I don't know what it is with this guy. He's so fucked up in the head. I don't get it.
Doug Peterson, I'd want a new team. I'd fucking leave the Eagles.
Doug Peterson?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, listen.
Especially if these rumors about Jeffrey Lurie making all these fucking personnel decisions are true.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, as a Knicks fan, Doug Peterson, fucking run.
Yeah, I mean, Doug Peterson won us the Super Bowl, though. I mean, it would be a sad day when he left. I don't care what anybody says.
He won a Super Bowl, and then he's not even allowed to pick his own offensive coordinator. That's some bullshit.
Yeah, it really is. Dude, it's our owner. Our owner fucking sucks, dude. And I told Zomp this. Zomp's like, Lurie's a great guy. I got you the same exact jacket as Lurie wears in 2015, which he did because I brought him to a game. He got me the same exact winter jacket as Lurie wears. I was like, dude, that's a kind gesture, but I hate Lurie with a passion. Like, Lurie is like that kind of owner that you have to somewhat put up with because he's the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles. But to me, he's like a James Dolan. Like, I just don't – there's nothing likable about Jeffrey Lurie. He slapped his wife in the face on live TV. Like, I just don't – there's nothing likable about the guy. I'm sorry, there's not. I don't know if you saw it. That was versus the Cowboys back in 2008. A lot of people are agreeing with you. Amen, Zach. Hurts is our new Nick Foles. I mean, I wouldn't go that far. Nick Foles actually has a cannon. The fact that
he could touch on the deep ball.
Oh my God, the fact he can move is what made up for his bad mechanics. He didn't work on the fundamentals. Clearly,
he did, but it's one of these things that he always seems to reset every fucking offseason for some God knows reason. If I could give Carson Wentz one Christmas present, Jordan Palmer. That's my gift to Carson Wentz.
Elaborate.
Jordan Palmer has done great work with quarterbacks. Take a look at Josh Allen. You talked about his fundamentals being better than last year. You know who's his number one guy in the offseason? Jordan Palmer. So Carson Wentz, a lot of the stuff was this team was a lot more talented, and Carson Wentz's fundamentals didn't really matter because he could get out the ball because these guys were getting open. They were getting separation. Now he's having a hard time throwing guys open because his fundamentals aren't what they need to be to throw guys open, and his ball sails a little bit. So, Jordan Palmer, that's my gift to Carson Wentz in this Philadelphia Eagles team.
I like it. I don't know who he is, but I like it. Don't get me wrong. I get where you're coming from, though. Wentz hasn't played up to his potential this year, but we do need a stud man. We really do. I would love to have someone like Robbie Anderson, type of wide receiver, but nobody wants to fucking go here. Robbie Anderson was a landing spot in the offseason, but he chose to go to Carolina. I think he got paid more than what we were offering. He's balling out down there. I mean, I didn't really see him as anything special coming from the Jets personally, but I was kind of wrong on that. I admit when I'm wrong. Yeah. All right, Zach.
I know. I got to take it when I can get it. All right. Sorry, Kyle.
It's all right. It's all right. Yeah, you win that one. But yeah, I mean, we definitely need another wide receiver. I'm not discrediting that. The thing I want to bring up is I know it's weird bringing up Travis Fulgham, but the guy had almost 500 yards catching. And he had 4 touchdowns. Guys like that just don't fall off the face of the earth. Something happened to where his confidence is shot, his rhythm shot. And you know what happened? Alshon Jeffrey came back, and it completely killed any confidence Travis Fulgham had left. I still think Travis Fulgham's a really good wide receiver. I truly do. And a lot of people are dissing the guy now. When you're in the NFL and you catch balls that consistently, being the number 2 wide receiver, or even number 1, for a short span of time, you have a decent skill set. Like, I hate to break it to you, you're getting guarded by some of the top corners. Like, I wouldn't give up on them. I really wouldn't.
What? That number 1 thing that I keep saying is go get a number 1 wide receiver. How much better would Jalen Reagor and Travis Fulgham look if you had a number 1 wide receiver?
Yeah.
That's when these dudes become legit because you get more space.
Yeah, you're not wrong. The bromance between Lurie and Roseman killed this team. Yeah, clearly. I mean, I think it's more Lurie than Roseman, which is weird because Roseman's not really good at his job. But the reason why he's not good at his job is because he's still running his job. And guess who's letting him run his job? Jeffrey Lurie. Jeffrey Lurie's in control of everything, and he still has him in the front office. So you got to blame Jeffrey Lurie, not Howie Roseman, in my opinion.
Especially if Jeffrey Lurie's impacting decisions.
Yeah, exactly. Jalen Hurts did awesome in the Saints game. I wouldn't say awesome. Eagles are
As
now
a quarterback, he was awesome in the Saints game. I will say that.
Wait, what?
As a rookie quarterback in his very first NFL start, I will say he was awesome against the Saints.
He was safe. Jalen worked with Palmer and Quincy Avery. Okay. Is Zomp going to be on the postgame? Yep, he will be.
Choking people out with strings of spaghetti.
Yep, he does not wake up this early. I don't even know why I'm up this early, to be honest with you. But I have to do the show for you guys. His college coach says he doesn't work as hard if he's not involved. Yeah, that means he's not a hard worker.
I haven't seen that. I'm gonna go
that means he's not a hard worker. He'd rather shoot fucking deer, which is kind of murderous, but whatever.
Hey, so does Fletcher Cox.
Yeah, but Fletcher Cox at least does his job. It sucks because it's half and half. Some of our players want Wentz and some of our players don't, and that ruins the chemistry with the whole team. Like, everyone has some bad years. I say we give him one more year, and if he doesn't get the starting job, send him over to Indy with Frank, where he will get his potential back throwing balls to Pittman Jr. I mean, you're gonna send him somewhere else. It's just I can see him ending up with the Pats, honestly. Like, I truly could. Because Belichick needs that stud quarterback again. He needs him. You can tell that, Cam Newton's really kind of washed. And he's only on a 1-year deal, so you could either send him to Indy or Indiana or New England, in my opinion. Both had a conference, so it would both work. Let me see. I'm sure there's a religious connection with Howie and Jeffrey. Religious.
There might be.
Last game I thought Fulgham was going to get the ball more. I called it, and definitely was wrong. Listen, I mean, Fulgham, I was this close. And listen, I'll admit this right here, right now. I was this close at the Giants game, week 10 in October, to get in a Fulgham jersey. I was that close. And at the last second, I had to leave, or else I would have got one. They don't use him correctly, and it looks like they killed him. Kind of sucks. I don't think he was a flash in the pan. Will Carson work on his mechanics? If he hasn't yet,
Let's hope so.
I don't think he will. I'm just being honest with you. I don't think he will. I think he thinks he's God's gift to earth, and that's the problem. He's that religious that he brings God into the playing field, and he's like, listen, I'm not this bad because God put me down here to play football, and I'm on the NFL football field right now when you guys aren't. So I feel like that's the way he thinks. Like, God puts him on the earth to be who he is, and he doesn't have to change up anything. I honestly feel like that's what he thinks. He's a really weird guy. Jalen Hurts shows that Wentz was the big problem. Clearly. I mean, Jalen Hurts isn't even that good, in my opinion. Hurts was composed, which was impressive. Yeah, and Carson Wentz getting paid $100 million guaranteed hasn't been.
Hold on, go back to that other comment.
Which one?
The Brandon Charlton.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts showed that Carson Wentz was the biggest problem. Carson Wentz is definitely one of the problems. He's not the biggest problem. Jalen Hurts gives a different dimension to this offense with his legs, which opened up a lot of things for the run game, which opened up receivers being able to create separation because you had defensive backs looking in the backfield at Jalen Hurts. It just creates a lot of things with his legs. His mobility is that much of a game changer.
Okay.
Now, how long can we lean on it in the NFL? I don't know. Ask the Ravens. They went 14-2 the other year, and now they're what, 8-5 or 9-4 or something like that.
Yeah, but they're stuck in limbo. They're never going to win a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson. Let's be honest. Does Sanders have a breakout game today? It's funny you bring out the word breakout, because other than breakout plays, he doesn't really do much.
Exactly. He had 3 yards per carry, other than that 82-yard run.
Yeah,
just off the top of my head, like 3.5 yards.
Like, if he doesn't have that one breakout play to fill the stat sheet, he really doesn't do anything. Like, if you go back and look at his stats, like, everyone's like, Miles Sanders is so good. I mean, if you think he's great, like, if you think he's better than Saquon Barkley, which I clearly don't, I mean, you need him to be consistent, and he's not consistent. You need consistency. Like Dalvin Cook, he's consistent.
You need them legs to churn and always get positive yards. Exactly.
Carson thinks he's Peyton Favre. Favre doesn't like Carson, so that's probably another downer in his mindset. What's the answer going to be if we beat the Cardinals today? Yay. That's going to be my answer.
I just want to win. As an Eagles fan, I want to win.
Yeah. As an Eagles fan, I want what's best for this team, Zach. Team is gonna come back down to earth with Hurts, and people are gonna be real confused. They didn't even notice Doug's trash coach. I mean, come on, why do you guys butcher Doug so much? Like, Doug, come on, Doug won us the Super Bowl. Everyone wants to say Frank Reich. No, Doug won us the Super Bowl. You have to understand, he was the head coach. He won us the Super Bowl. That's how I see it. Clearly, Carson.
I have to go back to this. All right. First half of the Saints game, 7.7 yards per play. Second half of the Saints games, cut in half, 4.5 yards per a play.
That's
we're going to have to see. Teams are going to start to adjust to Jalen Hurts and his ability, just like they did with Kyler Murray, and that's why he's so inconsistent this year. That's why that team's so inconsistent this year. But do I give them a fighting chance in this game? Absolutely, because I know Jalen Hurts has that it factor. He has those intangibles, and he has that swagger. Can it last? Can it win you over a full season? I don't know. It's all about the adjustments he'll make in the offseason.
See, it's a good thing that I have Zach on the show, all right? I need that fanboy perspective, at least for one player, all right? Jalen Hurts, in my opinion, I hate to say this, but he's not good. He's just not good. And you're going to see that today. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. He's just not very good. How many passes did we run? Wait, what? How many passes did we run then? And we had a lead. I'm so confused right now. Zach, can you take that one?
He was asking about in the second half how many passes
plays did we run? Okay, passing plays. Yeah. 7, 8, maybe.
How many did we do in the whole game?
Well, I mean, Jalen Hurts was what?
17 out of 30? Was that what it was?
Yeah, so we threw 17 times. Maybe a little bit more if we did a trickery play, but that's about it.
I'll look it up.
And you got Zomp for one.
17 out of 30. Threw for 30 times. I don't know in the second half, though. I'll look.
No, Jake Thoden. No. Zomp completely flipped the script because he saw flashes out of Jalen Hurts. I don't know what he saw out of Jalen Hurts that made him want to flip the script from Wentz to Hurts, but he doesn't – I'm not going to say he doesn't like Wentz anymore, but he's not on his nuts like he was the first 15 weeks of the season, which really bothered me because it just showed that he was just like implementing stupidity onto the show. 4th and 2. Hurts ball in inside zone. Hans team doesn't know the rules of onside kicks. Fulgham still benched. Who's the coach? I mean, yeah, it's like Peterson, but Ewing. Come on, it's early. He beat the Saints because Saints didn't know what to expect. Cardinals are watching film now, so they know what to expect. I think a run game will win us this one. Smartest comment of the day, Jake. Threw the ball away at least 7 times. Yeah, something Carson Wentz has not been doing. He had a pass where he ran to the sideline, threw to Zach Ertz. They called it back, but he tried that multiple times. Yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts was playing smart. He's playing safe. He was playing smart. It's things that Carson Wentz was not doing earlier in the season that got him benched ultimately. So, listen, I'm not saying that I hate Jalen Hurts. I'm just saying don't be down on yourselves today. When you see this guy not balling out and not showing you what you think he is, I'm just ready for failure, to be honest with you. But I'm being negative right now, and I want to stop because it's kind of a pump-up show like Rocky, you know.
All right, I have to go.
35-3.
I have to go, but I want to lead off with this. One positive thing. Thank God for Jalen Mills on that fucking onside kick.
Yeah,
because how we came out with that ball is beyond me. We could be talking something completely different if Jalen Mills doesn't kick and claw and spit and bite and punch his way to that ball.
Yeah, like a top 5 draft pick, possibly, which would be great. But with that said, we'll be back for the postgame show. We'll be on at about 7:30 after the Eagles game, and Zomp will be here. Thank you for tuning into this edition of Fly Like an Eagle podcast, early Sunday edition, and we will be back tonight.